Hi there, Sarah from Online Social Butterfly here, and today I wanted to pop in and share a little video with you about a feature in Canva called Whiteboards. Now, if you've seen this when you log into Canva, it's on your home screen, and it's a new tool that they've got that will allow you to do what we call mind mapping. Now, mind mapping is something that I have to be honest, I've used for years in my life and in my business and a lot in my studies when I was at university. And I'm a bit of a devotee of them. And if you haven't used them before, you may want to check out how you can learn how to use these before you kind of dive into Canva, because mind maps are something that quite often in life we're not great at using, and it can be for a variety of reasons. Mind mapping is really about connecting your brain with creativity, allowing ideas to free flow without us censoring them or kind of going, no, that's not good enough, no, that's not the right words. It's really just about throwing everything down and seeing what comes out. Now, we're often, from, at school or in our employment or just our own personalities, can find this quite hard. So I would recommend, if you're new to mind mapping, to check out if your local library has some books that you can learn about them, because it is a question of flexing that muscle in your brain. And I want to share with you, because I am such a lover of it. And I've had this book here, and it does look slightly daggy because it's quite old. It was printed in 1991. I'm certain there's an updated edition, but it's called Mapping Inner Space, and it is such a great book. It's actually, I don't know who it's made for, whether it's children or not, but I used it when I was at university because it taught me that process of letting my ideas free flow. So it's written in a way that's really easy to understand. It starts at the basics. I'll show you a couple. So kind of like simple kind of mind maps that you might see that are just kind of straightforward. It has some examples that dive into more, I'm trying to find a nice one to share. Share sort of like ideas, how to do mind mapping if you're storytelling, that kind of thing. So if you are new to mind mapping, before you dive into Canva and potentially overwhelm yourself, I would recommend that you have a look at some books that can help you with that. And if you want to check out other mind mapping software that's available, there are lots of choices out there. And again, my comment would be, because I'm such a lover of Canva, I always find that when Canva creates things, the edge that they often have over other software is that they are very user focused. And this means that things tend to be really easy to learn, easy to use, and very intuitive when it comes to design. So I'm going to dive over to Canva and I'm going to walk you through how we use this new function within it. Okay, so we're over on the Canva home screen now. And you can see on your home menu here, we've got the little whiteboards that's showing up just here. And it looks really good because underneath it, they've got what is most loved at the moment in terms of whiteboards. And as we scroll down, it also tells us what are some of the templates that are available. Now, these have been put in order of type. So we've got just our standard whiteboards, we've got brainstorming, we've got flowcharts, we've got team ones, we've got planning. There are lots of different choices. And when it comes to your team ones, I like these because they're really, really interesting. If you use a tool like Trello or Asana, these are quite similar ideas, but the difference is that people can collaborate on them. And the Kanban one, I'm a Trello user, is very, very familiar in terms of this is something that you'll see and understand all the time. So I'm going to start with our simple whiteboard and use a blank template and open in the Design Studio. Now, you'll notice as soon as we log in here, it looks completely different to what it would normally look like when we use Canva. You're now looking at a white pegboard or a kind of backdrop with lots of little dots on it. So I'll zoom in so you can see the dots, and I'll zoom back out. And this is really to help you anchor your ideas and designs across the page, which I think is super cool. So I'm going to talk about some of the mind map ideas that are in here and how you might like to use them in your business. So as always, there are lots of great templates. We looked at them on the past screen. I'm going to start with one which is for launch ideas. A lot of us in our business do launching, and we get really overwhelmed with this process because we don't know how to approach it. And as I love Canva templates because they do a lot of the heavy lifting for us. So there's lots of different ways in which you can throw things down in here when it comes to launching. There are what we would call our quadrant view ideas. And these are where, if you're a marketing person like me, we always use quadrants for SWOT analysis, so strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. But they can be used whenever we're trying to do a comparison between 4 different things. And it can be in task prioritization, trying to assess different ideas and look at them comparatively, really, really helpful. There are lots in here that you can look through, so I'll scroll through some of the templates so you can see them. The other ones that I quite like are, if when we're looking at these are almost like a traditional mind map here. We have an idea in the middle and everything flows out from it. We also have what's known as our fishbone diagrams, which is those ones that flow from one direction to another and things that happen along the way. And if you use project management software, this will be very familiar to you. So really, really simple idea. My favorite one, and I actually still use whiteboards, corkboards, and I love old school post-it notes for these kind of idea boards here. And these are really great for you to just throw all your ideas down and have a little bit of fun with. So lots of ideas there that you can see might be useful in your business. I'm going to click on, as always, we always have our little bubbles across the top here, and I'm going to click on the one that says mind map. Now these ones are really great because they allow you to flesh out some ideas, and I showed you that project kickoff one already. But I'm going to click on this one here because this is very much a traditional mind map that we get quite used to seeing. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so you can see it more easily. Now, these are really handy in your business if you're trying to create something new. So this means you're creating a new product or a new service or a new class or a new course. Getting all the ideas down is really, really important. And when we're trying to do creative thinking and do problem solving, one of the struggles that our brain often has is that we're trying to remember, oh, that's a good idea, but it's not worthy of a space on the page. So what mind mapping does is it puts everything down there, and it means that you're not trying to remember that while you're in the creative process. You can kind of let it go. So I like these for this because it allows you to put everything down there. They might be related, they might not be related. So using these templated mind maps is really, really fun, and I would recommend if you're new to the process to use something like this. Now, as always with Canva, I'll just zoom out a little wee bit more so you can see it. You can see the little dots in the background. You can start from scratch, and if you want to start from scratch, some of it will be familiar to if you're a Canva user and some of it's going to be new. So I'm going to start by putting some text, and I'm just going to put here, just going to jump into my brand kit. I'm going to grab a heading and I'm just going to put new course because that's what I might map out for. So I put my little text at the top, and then I might use some features that you would be familiar with for mind mapping, which are often, we always have the ideas and we have the connectors. Now, the exciting thing about whiteboards is under elements, they've added a bunch of new features that are specifically for whiteboards. So you'll see that when you log in here, there are sticky notes, there are lines and shapes, which are often our connectors, and then there are graphics that are specific for whiteboards as well. And I love this. So I'm going to show you how we use these. I'm going to pop some whiteboards on here, and I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put on another sticky note here, put that there. So I can put a bunch of sticky notes on there, and I can start writing my ideas down. I can use my little pegboard at the back to guide me. So all these ideas can come along. I can then grab some arrows to connect different ideas and have a little bit of fun with things. So there's lots of tools that you can use and try out. Also, the stickers or the graphics that they've added are really great, because what we want to do is, often we have an idea and you're like, oh, that one's a really good idea. I want to make a note that that's a good idea. That one, not so much. So I'll put a little cross next to that. And that one, I'm not actually sure. I'm just going to put a question mark to it because I'm still thinking about it. So the little graphics can be really helpful to relax your brain, because remember, we're not censoring anything. Even if it's a rubbish idea and we put that cross next to it, it's still been captured and you're not trying to remember it in your brain. Now, generally we're going to be using these ourselves, but as always with Canva, if you have other members of your team, you can collaborate. And I wanted to show you. So if I had put that this is a bad idea, I might want to make a comment about that. So I can click on the box, and you can see above it, there's a little comments box. And I can just write, I don't think this will work. Okay, and I can add that little comment there. And then if someone clicks on here, they'll be able to see straight away that I've put a little comment. It shows my photo. and then they can click on the comment and actually view it, and then they can reply, I think you're wrong. Okay, so you can have that collaboration with your team without having to kind of sit together in the same room. Really, really helpful. Now, some of the other features that I like, and these again are just really cool because they're obviously new to Canva, is if you click on one of your sticky notes, as soon as you outline it, it gives you these little arrow options. So the little plus, we'll put one there, and it will put it wherever you click on the plus. So it then allows you to duplicate things really, really quickly and make that kind of flow that you might want to have. So this again is a really simple tool that you're probably going to be using quite a lot of. So there are lots of fun features available within the templates under Whiteboards, as well as starting freeform and going ahead and creating it yourself. All right. Now, I hope that you have found that little tutorial helpful. I hope that mind maps are something that you will consider using in your business. Remember when I was saying they do take a little bit of flexing of that muscle in your brain to kind of let go of the yes or no, it's good enough, it's not good enough, and putting all of the ideas down. It's also really, really important to be in the flow and let your creativity go. So not kind of just not assessing and not critiquing, and even not trying to go, that idea is just comment A. I don't have to write everything that I think it goes with that. I just have to capture it in front of me. And this is definitely some training that your brain has to undergo. But once you get the hang of it, it's something that I love and enjoy and do so much in my business. And as I mentioned, when I was at university, I did a lot of that for when I was doing, writing my dissertation or writing big essays and things like that. It just helped to put all the ideas down, and then for you to rearrange them and kind of get them in an order that makes sense for when you're trying to share. So I just will reiterate again, my favorite old school book. It's called Mapping Inner Space, and it's by Nancy Margiles. Check it out. There are thousands of books on mind mapping. That was just one of my favorites that I've had forever on my bookcase. And yes, I have indoctrinated my children into using it for their studies as well. I will close off by saying, remember, with Canva, you can't break it. So feel free to have a play, have a little bit of fun with it, try out mind mapping, try the new features and elements to see how they work, and have a go at it. Don't be hard on yourself if you struggle a wee bit to start with. We want to keep practicing, and we want to encourage our brain to embrace this new way of thinking, because it's going to be really fun for you and your business. So happy mapping, and I wish you all the best with this new feature in Canva.